Naive, welcome to PUTINWORKTV. We've enjoyed watching your journey and growth as an artist in the New England music scene and really want to hear more about your story. Our focus is allowing our guests to tell their stories front and center without judgment or opinion. Let's dive in. So how did it all begin?
I guess it really started my senior year of high school. I mean, I always liked singing and making music and shit, but I never fully made music until 2016. That's when one of my best friends, Phil, my cup, he actually dropped his first single, Missy, that summer, and that shit went crazy. And we've known each other since kindergarten, and in kindergarten we even used to sing and shit together. So it was once he started making music, he kind of put a battery in my back to try to start writing and shit. So I did my first year at Amherst. That first semester was trash, so the second semester I kind of just was focused on making music. That's when I would always go down to his college, and that's when I made my first song, performed for the first time. But the fire that really lit up under my ass was back in 2016 too, when I started working at Bodega. I was around a bunch of people that just do all sorts of creative shit and just really were not conforming to no ideas of nothing. They just lived life based on what they felt every single day. So painters, graffiti artists, models, photographers, videographers, rappers, singers. I was meeting all these different people, working with all these different people, spending every single day with these people. So it was Phil inspired me and gave me the tools to actually be able to do it. And then it's these people really lit the fire, because these are a lot of successful people that I was around at the time, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Alright, so how long have you been making music? Since you said 2016?
Yeah, I would say though 2020 is the date I'll claim, because even though I was writing music and stuff, I wasn't really putting music out. I put my first real single out in 2020, right before the pandemic started, My Love, and that was featuring Phil. So it was literally was just drunk as fuck in the studio, and he had actually just got a studio in Malden. So we pulled up over there, we're celebrating, and he's making a beat, and I'm I was kind of executive producing, telling him what sounds good, what doesn't sound good, and it kind of just ended up being my track, kind of. Then I wrote the hook and everything. Another kid was actually supposed to get on it. Phil was honestly, I just feel I deserve that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna just come on it real quick. And so yeah, that's kind of where it started in 2020.
Before we hop in more into your music and your process, I really want to know what it was growing up for you in New England. So where are you from?
I'm from Somerville, Cambridge. I guess I'm gonna mainly claim Somerville. I never officially lived in Somerville, but my aunt has a big ass crib in Somerville. That's kind of where all my family we would hang out, we would chill and stuff like that. So it was my mom worked in Somerville, I was living in Boston, schooling in Somerville was just better. So yeah, growing up in Somerville and Cambridge, everything was really fun, no bullshit. There was always just so much to do, and that's kind of when I became a social butterfly, as I like to say. I had so many friends in Somerville, and then it's I'm also going to camp in Cambridge, so I had tons of friends in Cambridge. So it was I kind of had the best of both worlds, chilling in both cities. And then I started going to Prospect Hill, which was the high school that I graduated from, and they have campuses in Somerville and Cambridge. So it was I'd still be in Somerville, but I also went to school in Cambridge, so I was still connected with my friends, and you know what I mean? There was a lot of opportunities too growing up. So, I did all types of shit in high school. I feel I had a lit upbringing, no bullshit. I love both of the cities. I love Somerville, I love Cambridge. I loved growing up in the cities. You know what I mean? High school was really different for me though. I wasn't really tapped in with my creative being in high school. I was really, really, really school oriented, very me focused on that, doing extracurriculars and that type of stuff just to get to college, you know what I mean? That was my big thing. So me deciding to really step away from school was a big ass shocker. I think easily anybody who knows me from before high school is genuinely shocked that I didn't finish school, that I didn't go down that road and down that path, that I kind of just started doing my own thing. Because I'm telling you, like, I was driven, like class president. I was on the debate team. I had my own business. I like was on the varsity basketball team. I was captain. We won a chip that year. I applied to like 17 colleges, got into 16 of them. I was a crack addict when it came to school. Like, I was really so focused on it. So, you know.
So what made you take a leap to pursue music over school? Like, what was that first inspiration, or like, what do you call it, catalyst?
I guess I was sheltered. So when I first went to college, that's kind of when I first had my like first dose of like real freedom. Like, my mom and my dad are not here to help me make choices and decisions. So it was like, you know, I can really do whatever I want to do. And like, some stuff happened in college, obviously, but the main gist of it was like, you know, and my heart just wasn't in it. And I didn't feel like this is what I really wanted to do. And I've always been good at school, but like, you know, I knew I also had like this talent, this gift, not just like with music. It was just more just with people and networking and doing cool stuff and being a part of cool shit, like, you know. And I always felt like, you know, I could definitely make money just focusing on my personality and highlighting that and every single day, you know what I mean? Even in school, nobody really knew me because of like, oh, like I'm in extracurriculars or doing anything. I was just a cool ass bitch,
Yeah.
dress fly, and just I like to chill, laugh, talk, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of when I just decided, like, you know, fuck the school shit. This is definitely something that I would rather prefer to do. It was kind of like a switch. Not having my parents there to make decisions for me kind of just gave me the path to do it on my own, you know?
So when you bet on yourself and decided to make the transition to music, how was it like finding studios and recording? Like, what was that process for you? Like, was it hard? Or?
I'm privileged. I'm privileged for real, because Phil grew up in the church, so the guy knows how to make every single, knows how to make any type of beat, do anything for real, plays every instrument pretty much. So it was like, he would record and stuff in his basement. He transformed his basement into a studio. So pretty much all the tracks that I have right now, I made in Phil's studio. So it was never really like a struggle for real. And then it's like, you know, having worked at Bodega and knowing so many people, it was like I could go work at the studio and do this or do that and whatever. So I had the network, but again, the privilege of working with my best friend, not having to pay for studio time, not having to pay for beats, you know, that was easy. Like, making the music, having the place for it was like not even the hard part. It was really just like kind of believing myself, type of thing. But betting on myself was definitely a hard thing. I struggled a lot with it, but again, even tying back to like working at Bodega at 17, you know what I mean? Privilege. I got put through doors like that I never thought would ever even like appear, let alone open, you know what I mean? So it was like, I just feel like I'm God's favorite sometimes. Like, sometimes it just be like, damn, like I never expected these things to happen, and these things just fell in my lap. I felt like betting on myself was something that like God was kind of always guiding me towards doing, you know what I mean? I'm not religious or nothing like that, but I'm pretty spiritual, you know? Like, I believe in God's plan, you know?
In the studio, like, what is your process like in terms of like, do you write at home, or like you in the studio, you freestyling, you feel me? Like, what's it like when Naive's in the studio making the shit happen?
I'm so difficult and such a brat. I don't go to the studio and just like freestyle. Like, if we're gonna take the session to make music, it's like, you know, we're probably gonna have a reference track done by the end of the session, but definitely not like a completed track or nothing like that. Like, I have to write the song before I go in there, you know. Super difficult. We're gonna run over this shit 50 times until I like how it sounds, you know. And I have like a real raspy voice, so it's easy for me to not like how something is sounding or presenting itself. But, you know, I have a lot of people around me that boost my ego and make me feel better. So, you know, making sure I got some Casamigos, some Espolon, some type of tequila around me, you know, and just keeping people around me that keep my energy high. I don't really have like a set process, like, you know, people walk in there, take 3 shots, do 6 spins, and like, you know, say a prayer. That's not really me. I'm kind of just like, fuck it, let's do this. Let's turn up, let's vibe, let's get it done, you know.
So, what are some of your main motivators? Like, what motivates you in life?
Whoa. I guess like my main motivator is like, or my main two motivators is like my siblings, my brother and my sister. My sister is 9 months older than me, and my brother actually just turned 18 a few months ago. He actually just graduated high school and college at the same time. Smart ass motherfucker, you know. But they're like my biggest motivators. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the two of them always believed in me just doing what I wanted to do for myself. They always encouraged me to veer away from the things that my family like really wanted me to do, and they always just encouraged me to just focus on the things that make me genuinely happy. They're my biggest motivators. If I'm gonna boom, those are gonna be the first two people that are gonna enjoy the riches with me. You know what I mean? So I love them to death. They're like my whole world.
So, you talked about an abundance of people who are around you, creative-wise, in terms of like Fill My Cup. And so how do you feel about the state of the New England scene like 5 years from now in terms of like all the creatives and like where we're all headed towards?
I think people are becoming more open to this becoming a community, you know, but I feel like the heads of this shit don't have their heads in the right place, if that makes sense. Like the people that are really at the head of the table are not making the decisions for the greater good of Boston and us becoming a community. It's more about their own personal gain and what they could get out of these community events and out of this supporting each other. It's never really about a community. You know what I mean? Like we kind of talked about that like event, the kind of big session.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? While that was like so cool to be a part of, you know, like that ending like kind of speech like threw me off. You know, like I believe everybody deserves their bread for this shit, but ultimately at the end of the day, Boston is not in a place where anybody's respecting any of us. You know what I mean? Like the only people that have really boomed out of here is fucking New Edition, fucking the actor guy, Mark Wahlberg, fucking Cousin Stiz, and Millie's is making his way out. You know what I mean? He's not even from Boston. Yeah. He's from Cambridge too. So it's like, you know, nobody's really like, I'm not even going to speak about Millie's though, but like back to that event, you know, at the end of it was like, you know, like make sure that you're giving money to these people and it's like, bro, we really do need to build. We really do need to help each other out. We really do need to be here for each other. The reality of the situation is we don't have all of the money in the world, you know what I mean? But we all have the talent and the resources at the end of the day. And if we all really just make it a priority to really be there for each other in a genuine way, you know, the money and all of that, I feel like is going to fall into place. Like Boston needs a lot of help in terms of just accepting each other and admitting when somebody's good at something, admitting when somebody's better than you at something, genuinely supporting somebody without no hate or shade. You know what I mean? Like, and I just feel like there isn't enough of that out here. Like, in 5 years, I would hope that people would let go of the Smalleywood mentality and like really try to focus more on helping one another. But I just don't feel like that's really the case for the people that are like really at the top. Like, I feel like those people need to change their state of mind. I'm not gonna like come for nobody in particular, but you know, it's just not fair. What
do you think the people at the head of the table need to do? If you were at the head of the table, what would you do for Boston?
My ego isn't bigger than my head. My head's pretty big, so it's like, you know, I'm not one of those people that thinks I'm better than anybody. I'm open to listening to what people have to say, and I want to grow. You know what I mean? So there's room for the constructive criticism. The people at the head of the table need to let go of their ego and open up the door for the constructive criticism. Because once it becomes a room where we can all critique each other, there isn't a power structure. You know what I mean? It isn't, oh, he's the one that put this event together, so we all need to respect him, and at the end of the night, we need to make sure that we're cash-apping him because he's the one that did all of this. The people at the head of the table need to understand that this ain't about the money. This ain't about the clout. This is about us fulfilling each other in a creative need, like the creative needs that we all have. Like the reality of the situation is we all have platforms that we could bring somebody else onto in order to help them grow. You know what I mean? Like this. I've never done an interview before. So even though you guys don't have nothing on your page, who am I to decide, oh, that this podcast is lit or this podcast is whack? I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? When at the end of the day, you guys believed in me enough to ask me to come and speak my piece, you know? So it's like, the people at the head of the table, you need to let go of the bullshit that you think that you have going on, and see the situation for what it really is, and extend your arms to help people, not to slap people in the face. You know. Sorry, I spit, but
Okay.
that's what I feel. If I was at the head of the table, it wouldn't be me at the head of the table.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Like, this is a democracy. This is an open space. You know what I mean? Like, it's not none of the other shit.
So I want to jump from that to like talking about the music at the end of the day, the actual art, because that's what's important, and that's what drives a lot of us here. So how has the art altered and changed your life?
Sheesh, it has really changed my life drastically. Like I said, I really just saw myself living a cookie cutter life, going to school, graduating, and working at a desk somewhere. Like, this thing kind of just like, this whole way of life is like feeding my inner child, like making me genuinely like happy. I don't know. It's like when you're a little kid, you always think of all the things that you want to do when you grow up, but you don't really some people are not really fortunate with the people that want to help them achieve those goals. You know what I mean? Like, there's some girls that do flips and tricks, and their parents like, all right, let's do this gymnast thing, and then, you know, they boom. There's some people that literally make music. They've been making music since they were a kid, and they have people behind them that are like, I always sang, but it was never really like a realistic thing, you know? I grew up in a very traditional African household, so it's like, you know, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna do this, you know, like this whole thing, it's like, it's completely transformed the way that I see the rest of my life going. Like, it's giving me more of like a euphoric essence to my life. Like, I never actually know what's next, but I know that I'm in the right place, and things are endless, and opportunities are endless, and I don't know, it's like weird. I don't know how to really explain it. Am I explaining it properly? It's like such a weird thing to really just live your dream. You do feel like you're on a cloud, you know what I mean? And I don't have all the money in the world, I don't have all the clout in the world, all the views, but it's like, I'm genuinely happy. Like, I never thought that taking this type of control and choosing to like go in this direction would do this for me, you know what I mean? And then it's like the people that I've met along the way, like especially Bodhi and Neef and Peasley and Dunny, like Feed the Family, like they've really like changed my life, honestly. Meeting them, you know, they like are beyond a battery in my back, you know what I mean? They kind of like, their story is like, all of their stories individually are just like so different, and they've all come from such different things. Most of them have been making music forever, you know what I mean? So being where they're at now, being at their age, with everything that they've had to face, you know what I mean, and them still having the battery in their back to do the things that they need to do, seeing all of the trees that they've planted bear fruit, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, being close to it, it like definitely also gave me that like, wow, like this is possible, I can do this, I'm living a dream, this is great, I love it here, you know? But I don't know if I answered the question, but
you definitely answered the question.
Okay.
So tell me about your art, your music that you've released, and like what it means to you, what like when you were creating it, like what were your intentions that you wanted to put out to the world, and like how do you feel now that it's been released?
Yeah, it like finding your sound is definitely something that like doesn't get talked about enough with the music shit. When I first did My Love, it was like Phil makes reggae music, so I kind of was like, you know, this is a cool thing. So when we're making My Love, I was kind of like on a party vibe. I'm like that time I'm still going to the club, I'm still going to parties. Like, this is right before the pandemic, we're still backing it up, we're listening to all these dance hall, like, you know, Massachusetts is good for that, you know, the reggae and dance hall community. So it was like, that's kind of was my first appeal, but I knew I always wanted to do R&B. So like with with Baby, I actually had just went through a breakup, and I kind of was, you know, we were like, you get in that weird place after a breakup where it's like, you know, you still want to be with the person, but you also know like this is not something that you really want to do. But it was like, I still wanted to like make a song embodied how that person initially made me feel. So where I was at with it was kind of like a, you know, I was like still trying to process everything and taking it from the top, you know what I mean? So when I wrote Baby, it was kind of like, you know, thinking about the early stages of being with that person and what it really felt like. So when I wrote Baby, it was like, wow, I really tapped into the R&B bag that I always wanted to tap into, and I feel like I articulated exactly like how I felt and what I wanted that person to know about how they make me feel, like in a good way. And now that it's like out in the world, because it was a song I sat on for a whole year. I actually wrote it in LA in 2021. My friend Alondra had moved out there. I went to go see her, and we found the beat on YouTube, and you know, we ended up writing it. It was cool. Summer Walker ended up actually connecting with the producer and using the track on her most recent project. So that was kind of like a blow to my heart, you know what I mean? Because I sat on the song all this time. Now I can't post the song on all streaming platforms and because of the beat, you know what I mean? But I could have easily been discouraged, but putting it out now, it's like I feel so good. Like people know exactly what I'm actually trying to do with myself, what the sound that I'm trying to go towards. I feel like a more polished artist. Like I know what I'm really trying to do. Like this R&B shit is like, you know, the path. I feel good knowing that it's out there in the world. Like I'm not holding on to all this shit anymore. You know what I mean? So.
What do you have in store for your audience in terms of music coming out? Because you talked about Baby, you talked about My Love. You know, I know people are on you. Like, where's the album? Where's the EP? And how do you feel about people asking you for more music?
It can get annoying, you know. I feel like Rihanna sometimes. Like, come on, like, relax, everyone. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I don't feel like a particular pressure to make music or to rush the process. Like, Baby, I wrote Baby a whole year later. Like, I literally went the majority of 2020 not putting out any other music besides features. So it was like, Baby was an organic thing. I want the rest of the project to be organic, you know. I don't just make music, so it's not like I'm leaving them hanging, you know. It's giving very much Rihanna. I'm a versatile butterfly, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't feel a particular pressure. I feel like this EP that I'm working on is a process that I'm allowing to just work itself out. I'm not trying to put too much pressure on it, because I want it to. It's gonna be a 4-track EP. I'll tell a little bit about it, and I wanted to really embody the growth that I've had in this weird time since I first put out music in 2020. Like, I wanted to highlight the growth. I wanted to highlight the changes. But I'm not going to say too much more.
Tell me about the other stuff you do, the other art form you take part.
Yeah, so again, through working at Bodega, like, I was put on with so many opportunities. Like, I never really saw myself as a model per se, but like, I've done shoots through the people that I've met there. I've done influencing things and focus groups with a bunch of different brands like Converse, Nike, Reebok, Adidas, like, you know what I mean? Like, I do graphic design as well. I started graphic design when I was in high school, though, when I was doing my own business. So, you know, creating my own labels and creating my own flyers and doing this and doing that. That was something that I felt like it was really important to be autonomous, like, you know, making sure that I can do everything, because in all reality, if you don't have anybody else, like, you want to be able to take care of the things you need to do. So, you know, I did graphic design years ago. I used to do flyers for parties and stuff like that. I still do, like, flyers, labels, logos sometimes for people. Like me and Neve collabed on that Rebel Mafia and First Feed the Family flyer. That one was really dope. He did his thing with that. You know, yeah, like, I kind of just, I don't know, like, I do the influencing right now for the Tooth Gems. Shout out Gem Smiles. You know, I do a bunch of different things. Like, yeah, it kind of just all kind of just comes through the influencing, really, through Instagram. I kind of made my Instagram like a place where I just make sure that I connect with everybody through Instagram. You know what I mean? Every person that I meet, make sure you get my Instagram. Every picture that I post, make sure that it, like, looks good, so that people want to invest in me. You know what I mean? So everything that I do really stems from that: the graphic design, the modeling, the influencing, you know, everything. So
put me on onto, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's such a good question that I really don't have an answer for. Like, only because I'm like in this place of just like letting like life kind of hit me. Like, about to move to New York in a month, and you know, that's something I've always wanted to do. Leaving Boston was something I always had anxiety about. I always want, like, you know what I mean? We all kind of like have this like naive part of us where it's like, you know, the car and the house and the money and everything's just gonna fall into our lap one day. And it's like, you know, some of us never really considered the actual work that's gonna need to go behind that. And you know, New York is something I always wanted to do. I never really thought about when that would happen for me, and I kind of just decided like 2 weeks ago that, like, you know, now's the time. So it's like, I don't even know what's gonna happen in the next couple months, like, let alone in the next 5 years, but I would hope that, you know, I'm rich in whatever the fuck I'm doing, whether it's rich monetarily or just like in like my self-worth and just like in my understanding of life. And you know, I want to be okay. I would hope I'm abundant, whatever it is that I got going on in 5 years.
So talk to me about, how did you get your name Naive?
Naive?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually, before I ever got a car, you know, obviously I would take the train, and I live in Brockton, so you know, I would always, and like I said, I was from Somerville, Cambridge, so I'm whooping it to hang out with my friends. And like on this one night, I got to Braintree Station, and I ended up just calling a Lyft. That there was no buses going, and I got into the car, and the Lyft driver saw my name on the thing, and he like told me that it meant something like purity, like innocence, like, you know. And he's like, the best word that he could describe it as in English, like my first name, Nia, was kind of like naive. Yeah, so I don't really remember like what language he spoke or where he was even getting this meaning from, but he was kind of just saying like, you know, the English language has connotations like already associated with certain words. So when you're having certain conversations and you're using certain language, it kind of automatically makes people draw certain conclusions. So he wanted to emphasize to me that he wasn't trying to disrespect me by telling me that, you know, my name kind of in short meant naive. He was kind of just saying like, you know, it kind of means that you just have your own outlook on life and things, unaffected by other people and their opinions and the systems of life. You know what I mean? You kind of flow in your own way. You allow yourself to come to your own conclusions about situations and things. You know what I mean? You live in your own world. And I was like, that's pretty much me. So, you know, I'm gonna just take that. I don't even remember when that was. I think I became naive because my Instagram literally just used to be Nia Carvalho. So it's like, I think that was maybe like 2018 that happened. So it's been some years, 4 years with Naive now.
So what are some things you wish you knew before you started your journey?
I guess the only thing that I wish I knew before I started my journey was that this was a journey that I could start. You know, because I don't want to sit here and nitpick about all the mistakes and the things that went wrong, because it's really on some shit like that's what brought me to where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? Like, I really do believe in God's plan. I really just wish that this was a journey that I wish I knew that this was a journey that I could embark on before. You know, I wouldn't have wasted any time with school. I would have just been way more focused on this. You know what I mean? I wish that I had met certain people earlier. I wish I met Bodhi earlier. I wish I met everybody earlier. I wish that I just took myself a little bit more seriously. You know, but you know, I never knew that this was something that I could really do. I never had that, like I never had the support that I have now. So, you know, that's the only thing I wish I knew.
So, what advice would you give to someone who was looking to get started in music today?
My only advice is to make sure that this is something you really want to do. There's just too many people that are trying to do music just because they think it's something easy to boom off of. Like, this is a passion-based, like, career, you know? If you don't really feel this shit in your heart, then you just really should leave it alone. Like, if this is something that you feel like makes you feel better, and putting out the music is something that fulfills you, and you feel Like, you know what I mean? You feel accomplished when you're doing it. Like, then go for it. Be consistent, focus, push yourself to learn more, to understand more, to network with people, to break the glass ceiling that is Boston. You know what I mean? Don't do this if this is just your friend played a beat one day for you, you was drunk, you spit a couple bars on it, and you're just gonna be a one-hit wonder. Like, make it a point to be serious about this shit. Like, that's the advice that I even need to take myself, you know what I mean? So definitely the main thing that I would push towards everybody, do this out of your heart, like, not because of Instagram and the things that look cool online. Like, do this because this is what you genuinely want to do for yourself. It's in you, it's not on you. Yeah. Stop forcing yourself to do things that is not in you. You feel the things that are in you. You know if you like making candles, you know if you like graphic design, you know if you like clothes, you know what's inside of you. You know what I mean? You know if music is inside of you, if you have a songbird, if you have an ear, if you have an understanding. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't force it.
What would you say is like the greatest gift the music has given you?
My friends. The friends that I've made through this. I never had friends. Like, I talk about them so much because they just mean so much to where I'm at right now. Like, in particular, Neef and Bodhi. Like, the two of them, like, meeting them meant everything to me. I've always had friends, obviously, but I never had friends that really took the music shit serious, you know? So it's like, you know, that's like the biggest takeaway from it, like meeting these people and, you know, getting the opportunity to really like pick each other's brains and having this family and this like a deeper understanding of like who we genuinely are. It's like having, like, you know, it's just, you don't find people that genuinely understand you, you know what I mean, or really even want to, let alone people that do the same things that you do and don't have a thing in their heart where they're like envious or jealous or they're trying to eat off your plate or nothing like that. Like, this is real like support and love, and that's like the thing that I'm most grateful for that the music has given me. Like, my friends, my support system, you know. The music has even brought me closer with my father, you know. Like, goddamn, like, you know, things that you never thought you, like, you know, people that you never wanted to confront, situations you never wanted to confront, you know, when you live in your truth, you know, and you just live in your truth unapologetically at that, you know, it does open up a different room for understanding and growth, and for people that better understand you and want to grow with you to kind of come in. And that's what I'm most grateful for, you know.
Any last messages that you want to tell the people of Put In Work TV?
I just want to say, like, that this is just a beautiful thing in general. Like, you know, I could tell that this collective that y'all have here, because I can't even say it's just Put In Work and TV. You guys have Thrill Studios, and you have the Put In Work TV, and you have your graphic design. Actually, it's literally, you guys are building a network here that embodies exactly what I was talking about, genuine community and bringing people together. And I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to come on here and talk. You know, I never even knew that y'all even knew who the hell I was, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I kind of just was in a place where, like, I just was like, okay, the people that know me, and the people that don't, and it is what it is. Like, I never knew that there was even people in cavities of Massachusetts that knew exactly who I was, but we've just simply never connected, you know what I mean? So this is a beautiful thing. I love it, and, you know,
so I need to phrase that question better. Every time I ask, people think I'm talking about us. I just mean the people watching the video.
Yeah, but like still, but I just, but that's like, I really wanted to say that. Like, you know, I wanted to make it a point to say that on the video, because I was kind of at people's head about how they should be, and I just wanted to, you know, emphasize that you guys are like an embodiment of what I was talking about. Right. Like, you know, what we really need in the city. Like, as long as there are more people like y'all, you know, we're gonna be great. But in terms of the people watching, you know, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going. You're not gonna stop seeing my face. I'm just gonna keep getting bigger. If you thought the bubble was popped, it's not. Yeah, I just got way more stuff in the works. I can't wait to keep on shitting on you hoes and you mad hoes. Just kidding, but not kidding at the same time. I can't wait to keep growing with you happy ass hoes that love me just like I love you. I can't wait to just keep moving forward. For the people that are watching this that are like, oh, this girl is crazy, you ain't seen nothing yet. It's just gonna keep getting crazier. It's gonna get crazier, and I can't wait. I can't wait for y'all to see it. I can't wait for y'all to see it. I can't wait for y'all to see it. I can't wait to see it. You know, I don't know what the hell is about to happen in these coming months. New York, here I come. Let's do it up.
Hey.
You feel me? When this shit comes out, you know, I'll already kind of be in like I'm assuming like maybe 2 months in New York. So only Lord knows where I'm even gonna be at with that. You know, so, you know, just stay tuned to your girl, I guess. That's all I really gotta say to y'all. Yeah. Stay tuned. Fuck the haters. Kissing the people that love me, and, you know, not really thinking about nothing else. You know?
Thank you, Put In Work TV. This is Naive, and I'm out.
Thank you, Put In Work TV. My name is Naive, and I'm out of here.